A peaceful Saturday,
Hands up! Keep them up. As you raise your hands up.
now one of the deadliest in history.
Texas grieves for the people of El Paso today.
At least 20 people killed, more than 24 hurt. Police identify the suspected shooter and search his home here in North Texas. Tonight, the impact felt from El Paso
Bada bing, gunshots, gunshots, gunshots.
to Allen. Live from South Victory, WFAA News at 10 starts now. Breaking tonight, people in El Paso are trying to cope with one of the worst mass shootings in U.S. history. And police say a man from North Texas is the alleged killer. I'm David Schechter. Maria is off tonight. Just hours ago, Governor Greg Abbott confirmed a gunman killed 20 people at a shopping center and more than 24 others were injured. That shooting suspect is 21-year-old Patrick Crusius of Allen. Police say he started shooting around 10:30 this morning at a Walmart near the popular Cielo Vista Mall that's off I-10. Tonight, people around the world are sharing messages online using the hashtag #PrayForElPaso, and you can see those comments at the bottom of your screen. WFA's Alex Rozier is live in El Paso. Alex, the scene there is still very active.
Yeah, David, and there are still families that are looking for their loved ones right now at 10 p.m. as you look live at the Walmart. This is where it all happened this morning. In fact, minutes ago, a woman rushed up to the media here in El Paso looking for her mother.
I just want to know that she's not in that building and that nobody's taking care of her. My brothers and sisters have been calling all day long. This is not right.
Her mother was in the Walmart this morning, 87-year-old Angie Englesby, a mother of 7, grandmother to more than 20. This just one of dozens of families potentially affected by this deadly day in El Paso. A community coming together in prayer after a horrific tragedy.
Gunshots, one shot hurt.
At 10 o'clock Saturday morning, scenes of horror at an El Paso Walmart.
Back units, investigative units, please make it to the west side of Walmart, please.
The first call of an active shooter coming at the Cielo Vista Mall. Thousands of shoppers inside the Walmart when the shooting began.
He starts pop, 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 pop. He's going for that semi. He's trigger finger. He's going.
The alleged shooter, identified as 21-year-old Patrick Crusius of Allen, killed at least 20. 26 others taken to local hospitals, including 2 children, one as young as 2 years old. The single suspect now in police custody, his motive still unclear. However, the El Paso police chief says authorities are examining what he called a manifesto that they believe was written by the shooter and shows a possible nexus to a hate crime. Witnesses say the suspect, wearing cargo pants, carried a rifle targeting his victims one by one, seemingly at random.
People were just trying to get out of there, trying to go to the closest stores that they could, trying to push people out the way or trying to get them to go with them.
Authorities are now at his home in Allen, more than 600 miles from El Paso, trying to find more information about the suspect. Texas Governor Greg Abbott praising the community of El Paso.
We, as a state, unite in support of these victims and their family members.
And as you look live, you can see that the scene is still very active. The police chief saying that it is possible that the suspect could be charged with capital murder, which means if convicted, he could face the death penalty. Live in El Paso tonight, I'm Alex Rozier.
Alex, thanks for being out there for us tonight. As the hours go by, we've learned more and more about the suspect who called North Texas home for years. Our Eric Alvarez has been outside a home in Allen all night, watching investigators go in and out, and all this is happening right now in Kingsbury Court. Eric, fill us in on what you're seeing out there and what it's been like today.
Yeah, well, families here in this affluent neighborhood saw their Saturday afternoon interrupted by federal investigators and flashing lights. Right now at this hour, as you can see, both are still here. Now, we've been at this house since about 4:30 p.m., but it wasn't until closer to 7 that things really started to pick up. Now, that is when we watched state troopers block off the streets as ATF and FBI agents entered the home on Kingsbury Court. Now, we haven't seen them bring anything out, and we're told that likely will not happen until much later as police are waiting on warrants. The public records show Patrick Crusius at one point listed this home as his address, and Craig LeBlanc, who lives in the neighborhood, said he was shocked to hear about that local connection. especially because a friend of his in El Paso was actually in the shopping center when those shots rang out.
At one point, she was bed down in the shop that she works at, and she was just saying, "I just want to go home. I'm so scared. I just want to see my kids."
Now, he says thankfully his friend made it home okay. Now, the state representative for this district, Jeff Leach, says Cruzy has lived here in Allen and graduated from Plano Senior High School in 2017. Collins College says a student by that name attended from the fall of 2017 to the spring of 2019, and in a statement said, "We are saddened and horrified by the shooting and are prepared to cooperate with investigators." Now, an FBI spokesperson says investigators have made contact with the residents at this house, but stresses at this time this is not a federal investigation. Agents are here to assist El Paso police with what the FBI calls an ongoing murder investigation. Reporting live in Allen, I'm Eric Alvarez.
Thank you. Tonight, officials have not said anything about motive, but they are investigating a letter that they think the suspect wrote before the attack. And while the FBI is not saying today's shooting is a hate crime, El Paso police believe that it may be.
Right now, we have a manifesto from this individual that indicates to some degree it has a nexus to potential hate crime.
So what did the shooter allegedly write? WFA's Jason Whiteley is here. And Jason, you've been talking with some high-ranking officials across the state today.
Yeah, and David, you know, the shooter said he spent about a month preparing for this attack. That is according to that letter he wrote. And tonight, you know, it's investigators from across the state and even across the country are taking a closer look at this 4-page type letter they think the shooter wrote, explaining why he opened fire, killing those innocent shoppers. In the letter, the shooter describes himself as a white nationalist, a right-wing extremist consumed by conspiracy theories. In short, he thinks that white people are being replaced by immigrants in this country. The letter states this attack is in response to the Hispanic invasion of Texas. They are the instigators, he wrote, not me. I'm simply defending my country from cultural and ethnic replacement brought on by an invasion. He blames Democrats and Republicans, David, and corporate America as well. He even writes about the destruction of the environment going on. He says, most of y'all are just too stubborn to change your lifestyle. So the next logical step is to decrease the number of people in America who are using resources. If we can get rid of enough people, he wrote, then our way of life can become more sustainable. And finally, a personal moment here. The letter says that he hoped he would not survive the mass shooting. Capture in this case is far worse than dying during the shooting, he says, because I'll get the death penalty anyway. Worse still is that I would live knowing that my family despises me. So tonight the big question is, where is his family? Where are his friends? If he had been preparing for this for the last month, no one saw anything, no one suspected anything, and no one said anything. Clearly, those are questions that federal agents tonight are trying to answer, David.
Jason, it's interesting that he was blaming both Democrats and Republicans in this letter.
That is kind of fascinating that he's doing that. You know, he was only critical of those Republicans who back big business, you know, not the social conservative side of the party also. But what this is going to do more than anything, I think, is really going to put gun violence at front and center of the presidential debates. The next debate is going to happen in Houston next month, and Democrats have been pretty moderate on this issue, so we'll see.
Haven't heard much about it. You think they're going to talk about it now?
I bet tomorrow morning on the Sunday morning political programs, you'll hear quite a few of them coming out talking about this, and we'll see exactly what they have to say.
Okay, thanks, Jason.
All right.
Good report. Just moments ago, law enforcement officials told ABC News the suspect told investigators he wanted to kill as many Mexicans as possible. He said that after he was taken into custody, officials also said they found an assault-style rifle similar to an AK-47 and several magazines at the scene. As we mentioned, there has been an outpouring, a huge outpouring of prayers for El Paso tonight and a big rush to help. At one point, there was a 2-hour line to donate blood in El Paso, and Carter Blood Care says after this week's large blood drives across Texas, it is sending blood to El Paso to help with the 26 people who were injured today. President Trump is tweeting tonight about the shooting, calling it tragic and an act of cowardice, adding, I know that I stand with everyone in this country to condemn this hateful act. There are no reasons or excuses that will justify killing innocent people. Former El Paso representative and Democratic presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke canceled all his campaign stops this weekend, and he returned to El Paso. He just landed there and he addressed the media.
Just want to say I'm so grateful to the El Paso Police Department and the first responders and everyone who was on the scene today, including many of you who have to live with something that we thought we would never, ever see in El Paso. More murders today than we have in an average year in the city of El Paso. We don't know all the details yet, and we await the completion of this investigation.
Texas Senators Ted Cruz and John Cornyn have also tweeted about the shooting. Cornyn tweeted, "Our hearts go out to the families killed and injured in El Paso today. We stand with all El Pasoans in the face of senseless violence and thank the police officers and first responders." Cruz tweeted that he and his wife are praying for everyone in El Paso. Today's shooting marks a tragic milestone for the state of Texas. 4 mass shootings in 4 years. Take a look at this list. In 2016, there was the Dallas ambush that killed 5 police officers. In 2017, there was the Sutherland Springs shooting in a church. That shooting killed 26 people. Then last year, there was the deadly shooting at Santa Fe High School outside of Houston. There, 10 people lost their lives, and the El Paso shooting ranks as the 8th deadliest in the U.S. with 20 people killed. Of course, this is still very much a developing story, and we'll continue to update you here on air as well as on our app and our website, WFAA.com. Shifting gears now to our weather, and lots of us saw some rain this morning. We're going to get ready for a little bit more. Jesse says there's another chance of rain on the way.
Yeah, we are. We're tracking a little bit tonight, actually, and we'll see a little bit more develop by tomorrow morning. I want to show you some of the rain that fell across North Texas today. A lot of areas saw less than 1/4 of an inch, but some got lucky in Denton County and Collin County. Close to 3/4 of an inch of rain in Denton County over the last 24 hours. So quite a bit of rain there. Very welcome for this time of the year. As we take a look at radar tonight, we see a little shower that's been just dumping rain across central portions of Denton County. That is fizzling out. But we take a closer look here. You can see very heavy rain has been falling between Aubrey, Sanger, and Crum and the north side of Denton. So a little bit of rain there right now. Another batch of showers is expected to develop as we go through the overnight. So take a look. By 11 o'clock, that's what we have on radar. Showers will start to break out. Severe weather is not in the forecast. Okay, widespread rain is not in the forecast. Just some spotty rain from 3 o'clock in the morning all the way through daybreak. We'll still have some scattered showers, and a few rumbles of thunder can't be ruled out either. So that is in the forecast tonight. Temperatures pretty comfortable for this time of the year. 74 degrees, your overnight low. We have a big time warm up on the way. We're talking the hottest air of the season so far and the longest stretch of triple digits we've seen in a while. It's all coming up.
All right, 9 people are out of their homes tonight after a 2-alarm fire at the Spanish Garden condos in Fort Worth. 6 units were damaged when the fire happened just after 8 this morning. The Red Cross is helping those folks find a place to stay tonight. An overnight Lyft ride turned violent when the driver was shot by someone in another car. Dallas police say someone in a Lexus started shooting, hitting the driver in the leg. We're told the driver's injuries are not serious, though there are 2 passengers in the car as well, and they were not hurt. It happened around 2 this morning near Fitzhugh and Capitol Avenue. No arrests have been made. Still ahead, what investigators say is to blame for this massive wave at a Chinese water park that left dozens of people injured. Plus, a local business steps up to help young athletes who lost their rec center and a lot of their equipment. Here's some crazy video out of China. 44 people were hurt when a giant wave sent swimmers slamming into each other. Fortunately, none of those injuries were serious. Officials believe faulty electrical equipment may be to blame. And now to California, where a beach cliff collapsed there, killing 3 people. 5 people were trapped under the rubble north of San Diego, which was as high as 10 feet. 1 woman died on the beach, 2 others died at the hospital, and all 3 members of the same family. Investigators believe naturally occurring erosion led this cliff side from caving in onto the top of that group. Well, young athletes that had already lost their rec center where they played now have another challenge ahead of them. The Cedar Crest Comets Pop Warner football team was forced to find a new place to play after the Salvation Army Rec Center on Hutchins closed. Today they held a car wash to raise money for new uniforms. They say many of the uniforms were either taken or trashed when that rec center closed. A local business, Omar's Wheels and Tires, offered their lot to host the car wash.
it's important to our community that we have a community center to stop the kids, get the kids something to do, to keep them out of trouble.
We want to make sure that they get everything they need to do what they do.
The team has found a new place to play, and now they need about $20,000 for those new uniforms.
And after the break, we're going to be tracking showers and storms that move in tonight and early tomorrow morning. But I think the triple-digit heat becomes the big story this week. It's all coming up.